Let's see how long I can do this for, because I just got a brand new dog. He's a pit bull mix. We rescued him. We've essentially adopted him. On the course of this podcast, you'll see the journey of that, and we'll see how long we can keep him, because he's a puppy, and I already have 2 other dogs. So you might hear some whining and some barking in the background. Just ignore that. Hi, guys. Welcome to another episode of the Knives Monroe Daily Show. That's not even the official name of this podcast. It's the Knives Monroe Podcast, but I like to call it that because we're a podcast and we're going daily, man. So today is Sunday, June the 2nd. It's 6 o'clock, and I'm going to have this up tonight. Something I just want to get out of the way is this is going to be a Sunday episode. I want to deem these Q&A episodes. So I have questions lined up, and we're going to jump right into it. I hope he doesn't mind me saying this, but Cam, Images by Cam, asks me if we can start a pod again, to which I reply respectfully, gracefully, thankfully, just regrettably, everything. No, I can't. I already have a full-time podcast. Happy to be a co-host on your podcast or a guest on your podcast, but I can't incorporate that on this RSS feed like I did in the past with the Gatekeepers. I think it's kind of like a dickhead move, right? To be like, no, I don't want to pod with you. And it's not that I don't want to pod with you. It's I already have a full-time pod. And there's so much power in saying no to things. One of my biggest toxic and traits is I say yes to everything, and I end up regretting it. So gosh, this guy's crying. It's really gonna bother me, man. I might have to put him outside. Yeah, I'm gonna put him outside. Actually, no. He has got to deal with this. Got another question here. What does a good day look like in your life? That's a great question. A good day is, and this is what it is, man. This is what it is. A good day is feeling a sensation that I haven't felt before, or feeling a sensation that I love. Today was a fun adventure with my daughter, getting this new dog. Taking Frankie with us, our dog as well. And then that drive back home was just a whole different other feeling, a whole different other tension even. And it's just a whole new dynamic. And that I would call a good day. It doesn't have to be anything out of this earth or outrageous, but if it's something new, something fresh, something I haven't felt before, or at least haven't felt in a long time, or it's a feeling that I love, say that euphoric runner's high, right? If it's a day where I peak at that feeling, it's a good day, man. So maybe I have a low bar, but that's what a good day in my life looks like. Can you guys hear the barking? Oh gosh, this is going to bother me. This is going to be a short episode. My cousin, Oscar Matthew, great question, asks, what's something you've been wanting to film make, but I haven't? Oh my God. So when I was 16 years old and I realized I was a filmmaker, a whole story hit me, and it's been 20 years. This story is called Rebel from the Waist Down. I've written it over and over and over and over and over and over and over again. And the last time I touched it was 2016. And I never touched it again until this year. And I started readapting it, and I realized how to tell this story. And it's a doozy, man. It's my Kill Bill. It's my Mad Max. It's my Lost, however you want to look at it. And it's just my universe, and I love it to death. And that's something that I've been wanting to film make, but I haven't done it yet. And I have tried, but at this point I've given up on it becoming a film, and I've accepted that it could be a novel, and I'm comfortable with it being a novel. So that's where we're going to go. What inspired me to become a filmmaker? Oh God. The movie Kill Bill. Kill Bill inspired me to become a filmmaker. The first time I ever saw that movie, this is a question I get all the time, and it's an answer I get all the time. So if you're familiar with me, you've heard this story ad nauseum, but the first 4 minutes of Kill Bill changed my life forever. That title card where the bride gets shot in the head cut to black, title card, the fourth film by Quentin Tarantino. I get chills every time. In that moment, I was like, holy fuck, that's what I want to do. That's what I need to do. That's what I was put on earth to do. And that was what inspired me to become a filmmaker. And it's crazy because that gave me so much runway, you know? It's been 20 years and I'm still high off of that. But it's important to find other big bangs like that inspire you, that motivate you, that push you, to find and collect other inspiring things. I read from like this Martin Scorsese encyclopedia when I was homeless, and he said, and I wrote this down and I never forgot it. Yeah, like search for inspiration always, because you're always going to need it, you know? That's the quote, more or less. And it's true. You're always going to need it. So you might as well collect these vestibules of inspiration, because you never know when it's going to come in handy and when it's the right time to push forward with something. So I'm very big on that. Very big on that. What is your favorite film genre to work in and why? Oh God, I'm really terrible with film genres. I'm quite notoriously terrible with it. I really like indie films, indie budge, low budget movie stuff. I've never done a crazy $30 million movie or anything like that. But the more money, the more bullshit I've found, even on an indie level. So I like indie films like mumblecore. I think that's my favorite genre. Like just something like Clerks, or something like, you know, early Kevin Smith, early Richard Linklater, early Wes Anderson is really inspiring to me. What's my favorite project I've ever worked on and why? Favorite project I've ever worked on. That's a great question. I'll tell you. In 2016, there was one night where there was this website that was just getting off the ground. It was in the Rio Grande Valley, South Texas. The website was called Valley Native. And we were filming, and I was sort of like not really hired for the job, but I was there to do the job. And we were doing like this quasi mini documentary on this Chef Billy, for this restaurant called Infusions. And they treated us to a gourmet meal. We were able to go backstage and get these cool shots of like everybody cooking food and the diner, the bar. And it was just like my first night filming something like this. It was my first night D-rocking, really. And Genesis Moreno was there. Oh my God, I just full named her. And I remember telling her, nights like this just don't come around very often. It was just a magical night, and all we did was film and tell stories and sweat our asses off. It was hot as fuck, but it was so much fun. And if you go to my LinkedIn, you can find my wife. If you're watching this, I'm sorry, she hates that. You can find that video. It's called Fork It by way of Billy Villarreal. And Chef Billy, man, I don't know why. That was one of my favorite projects to work on. I don't know why. It was just a magical night where the stars aligned. The effort was pure. The stakes were low. And I was just having the time of my life. And I've been high off of that for a while. TBH. What inspired me to start the Daily Podcast? I'm a big fan and believer in reps. Repetition, getting out there, attack, offense. I have a lot of love to give. I have a lot of stories to tell. I've been living LIVIN for the past 5 years. You know, I started the Daily Podcast in 2020, did it for about 100 days. I don't even want to count the days. Yes, I want to get to day 800. I think that's like 2026, something like this. I don't know. I don't care. I don't want to count the days. I'm going to fuck up and something's going to happen. I just know it. It's just inevitable, but I'm trying not for that to happen. But what inspires me is I just love making what I wish existed. I wish that there was a daily podcast featuring someone on the come up that I could follow, that I could subscribe to, stick around and like collect these gems. I'm just making what I wish existed and what I want to see. If some of my favorite creators did a daily pod, I would subscribe and listen to it and be motivated every single day. And there would be a shared camaraderie there where we're all in the same suck in a way. We're all doing the same struggle and suffering together. And something about that is just really pure and beautiful to me. How did I get started on YouTube? Oh God. I created a YouTube account. I think my original Knives Monroe YouTube account was from 2007, but I created one in 2005. So that one still exists. This one I created around 2019. And I guess I got started just uploading my home movies, the stuff that I would film with my friends, and whatever relationship I had at the time, I would film some stuff. And it was like a way to archive stuff. I remember the beginning of YouTube, pre-Google acquisition, where whatever you uploaded was on the homepage, man. It was crazy. My first viral video was a Dragon Ball Evolution movie review that got 50,000 views overnight and met a lot of cool people at the time. And I've made a few viral videos since, and it's just like an exhilaration. It's such a high when you hit that spot. So I really enjoyed doing that. It's an honor. And YouTube is like the end game, man. People think, oh, you want to be a filmmaker, you want to go to Hollywood, you want to win an Oscar. Dude, I want 100,000 subscribers. I want that plaque, like I do. I just do. I want a video that gets 1 million views. I just do. Like, that's incredible. Those are numbers that no one can take away. And unlike Netflix or Amazon Prime, these numbers, these optics are visible. And so that's real leverage, and it's just very powerful and affirming. And YouTube's the end game for me. How do you maintain work-life balance? I don't necessarily believe in work-life balance. I think it's a pursuit, just like we're not guaranteed happiness that's not like a right, but we're guaranteed the pursuit of happiness, right? I think work-life balance is a pursuit. I think balance, and this is a future episode, balance is a verb. It's an act. It's something you do. It's not necessarily a state of mind. So how do I maintain it? I just try my best, man. I have a full-time job. It takes up 10 hours a day, including the commute. And I try to come home and do this, and I try to be there for my family and cook dinner and go for my walks and now attend to my dogs. And that's like enough for me, man. Like, that's a life. That's a life. So how do I balance that? It's just about getting my shit in, putting myself first, and making sure that I scratch my itch. What are my thoughts? This is a lot of filmmaking questions. What are my thoughts on the current state of the film industry? I don't care. All I know is what I grew up wanting is no longer a reality. There is no Miramax. There is no indie filmmaker turns mainstream a la Robert Rodriguez, Paul Thomas Anderson, David Fincher, Wes Anderson, Quentin Tarantino. It doesn't happen anymore like that. These guys are going to get over, like the new stars, the new filmmaking monsters are going to be getting over on TikTok, right? Like, that's the future. So Hollywood, the industry, I don't give a flying fuck about it. Collaboration and networking. How do you find and choose collaborators for your projects? Word of mouth and like the buddies that I have, the friends that I have, and then friends of friends. That's how I find them. I'm a part of a few networking groups. It's very challenging for me, a 36-year-old man, to go out and like meet these 20-year-olds that just have their whole life ahead of them. But you got to go out there and you got to risk your neck, and you got to risk being seen. It's okay. Everything's going to be okay. Like, got to go out there and find people, because you never know who's going to be your people, who's going to be a part of your tribe that you're going to want to collaborate with on a film in the future. You never know who they're going to be, so you have to keep your heart open. You have to go to these networking events. I've been here in Austin. I've met a few people that I can call friends. Shout out to Trent Knox. If you're watching this, give me a call, buddy. Love to hang out soon. But those guys are rare, you know, so you have to go out there and make it happen yourself, because it's not going to, people aren't going to, if you don't show up, they're going to stop inviting you, you know? So how do you choose collaborators? You know, you got to go out there and you got to help other people and be a good hand for other people. And then that's word of mouth. All of a sudden, some people might have heard of Knives Monroe and they're going to want to work with you and vouch for you. And it's not about what you can do. It's about who you know sometimes. And so honor your agreements and show up and build that word of mouth. And I think you'll attract collaboration. Sorry. How do you stay creative and avoid burnout? If anybody figures out that one, let me know. I think if you enjoy something, you won't burn out. If you love it, you won't burn out. If it's fun, you won't burn out. When you're doing something you hate, that's a recipe for disaster. It's not going to last. So do more shit that you love and eliminate the shit that you hate if you can, if it's possible. Yeah, that's how I avoid burnout. How do I stay creative? I believe in the practice, and this is a podcast for the future. My wife and I were talking about this in bed last night. I'm all about the practice. I'm all about jamming out, doodling, coming on here and freestyling. Yes, there's a format, but you know, playing, like drawing outside the lines, so to speak. That is how I stay creative, is by playing in the sandbox. You can't, in my opinion, this is just me. I'm very well could be wrong about this, but you can't stay creative by just thinking about it and staying in your head. You got to get out and put that shit on wax, put it on paper, put it on celluloid, put it on an SD card, upload it, ship it. I really believe in that. And this is the last question of the video. What mistakes have you made that others can learn from? Oh my God. I've made so many fucking mistakes. I'll just rattle off a few. It's not about what you make money-wise. It's about what you save. Never put up your own money when it comes to financing a picture, a movie, a short, whatever. Don't put up your own money. These are all money-related mistakes that I've made. Rent your gear. You don't need to buy a red Komodo. Rent it. See if you like it. Shoot the projects on it. You'll save money. And hire a DP. Put the money into people. I sound like David Lynch here. Put the money into people. Yeah. People. This is a people business after all. What mistakes have I made that others can learn from? People remember how you make them feel, so don't be a cunt. I like to pride myself in that I am not the biggest cunt in the world, but surely people out there have negative things to say about me, and surely I haven't been 100% honorable in my commitments. And be honorable in your commitments, for sure. If you say you're going to show up at 9 a.m., show up at 9 a.m. You know, I'm not going to make excuses for myself, but be a man of your word or a woman of your word. Be a person of your word, for sure. Because it can take 30 years to build a reputation and just 1 minute to destroy it in this business. If you made it this far, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Do me a favor, go on the Spotify and give this a 5-star rating. Right now I'm like at 3 stars, and that's because I rated it a 5-star. And before I was like at 2 stars. Who the fuck is rating me 2 stars? What the fuck did I do? I'm the shit. So I don't know where that came from, but let's boost that star rating on Spotify. I want to have 100 ratings by the end of the year. That's my goal. I'm just making it up on the spot. So do that. That would be great. I'm going to show up for you guys. I love you so much. Thank you so much for watching. Keep a force field around your heart, and I'll see you guys tomorrow on the next podcast. Peace.